Good words of wisdom. We hope you will take us up on this and get out there and find some great things. Now let's turn this over to maximizing the home value. What's the most effective way to maximize the value of your property? What should every owner know and do when considering selling that property in order to maximize the value? So whether it's residential or commercial, many of these principles are the same. I want to start with you, Robert. What are your thoughts maximizing the property value? How do you do that?
Well, it really depends on the motivation and the ability of the home or property owner, what they're capable of doing versus, to achieve the highest and best product before they launch it onto the market. Many times we're having that conversation up front. We're having that interview, that sit down and that tough conversation. Basically, it starts with, do you have a budget? And then we work within that budget to bring that property condition up to its highest and best in order to get the highest return on their investment. And that again, that living versus selling mentality. Again, it's a tough conversation. A lot of people, they don't live in a model home. So when we come in and give them that news alert that in fact their home is not in sellable condition, it can hurt. So you got to be very careful how you approach the subject with a lot of property owners.
And Sharon and Steve, I'd like to discuss this deeper also on the commercial side. Both of you are rare in the sense that both of you service residential and commercial. Not many people realize that you do need to prepare a commercial asset, no different than a residential asset, before you go to market. Sharon, I'll start with you. What are tips and tricks for people to get that property ready for the market?
Well, the conversation that I always have with sellers is, are you looking for top dollar or an as-is sale? In other words, what's your timing? Are you ready to put some time and effort and money into this property, or do you need a quick sale? And usually the quick sales will be the as-is properties. But if you have time, and I usually will spend 2 to 4 weeks in prepping a property for sale to get top dollar, and I feel it's my goal as an agent to really help and guide the seller to having the highest net possible to them after selling. And so we talk about the improvements, the right improvements to make for the property so that it's money is spent wisely and in areas that will be appreciated by a buyer, and that it will show the best on photos online so that we can get the most amount of interest in the property and get multiple offers for the property and net the seller the highest net possible.
And Steve, I want to talk specifically on the commercial side. Again, I think most people are pretty clear with all of the media out there that discusses preparing a home, whether it's staging or getting professional photography and videos, but it seems to really lean on the residential side. So I want to talk about commercial. What are your investors and what conversations are you having with those landlords that are ready to put those commercial assets on the market?
Well, now's the time to make it look as best as possible in the commercial field as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen as fast as a residential property. In commercial, you have to line up a few bids that might take weeks just to get the first bid out there, another 2 weeks to get the bid back. So timing is everything, even in commercial. You might get a 6-month project, seems short in some cases, to make that property look like it should. Also, we want to get it appraised. And so when you're appraising a building, do you appraise it before you fix it, or you appraise it after? Of course, after, because you want that to show the best possible for that appraiser as well. And when we're financing properties, people are buying these commercial properties and they're financing them, they do come in and they talk about things like, do I got to put the roof on? Do I got to put the flooring in? What do I have to do to make this rentable space for myself or a good investment? So I talk about roof, floors, paint, a lot of the same type of thing that you would do, surprisingly, in a residential property. People have the same 5 senses. They come in, they smell it, they like it, they love it, or they don't. So we really want to dress those up with the same type of principles, just a little different technique.